What's up, everybody? So today we're going to be talking about sacred sexuality, Kundalini Tantra, and semen retention, as well as some other topics that build upon this. So if you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe and hit the bell for all future videos, and be sure to give us a like if you enjoy this content. So essentially, let's talk about sacred sexuality, because in the West, even the word tantra, as soon as we hear tantra, or tantra as it's correctly pronounced, we get this image of sexuality, or most people do, at least for those that are not initiated into tantra and actually understand it as a larger system and body of spirituality than just, an activity or what have you. So when we get into tantra, we have to realize the sacredness of life. Tantra is about weaving the life that we live with our spirituality, not negating. And you live in a monastic way from within. You seek God, you seek the divinity within, but you don't deny the body. You don't completely deny it. Now, you may choose to avoid certain negative stimulation or certain suggestive, or rather provocative sexual stimulation visually. It's all over the internet and all over these phones. We have access to it. So as men in semen retention, we have to be willing to let go of things like pornography. And I'm sure there's girls that use it too, but more so for the men, especially, porn addiction is huge. And basically what happens to your brain when you constantly ejaculate every day or every night to pornographic material is you're depleting not only the vital Kundalini Shakti and the life force in your seed and your ability to create and manifest, but you're also draining, your dopamine. You're creating this negative dopamine circuit in your brain, depleting all your masculine energy, all of your ability to, go forth and create as, you're meant to. And women have a little bit different sexual energy, but, if all that women are using their energy for is for lust and for, body count and all that sort of thing, and that sort of manipulation energy with their sexuality, then this will also, keep them, they'll drain that energy essentially, where it's less of a physical thing for them and more of an emotional and a, mental and a spiritual thing for them. But just as much as it is for the man to release the seed, it is also a mental, emotional, and spiritual thing for the man too, of just the mentality of like, I don't look at women lustfully. And that's something that we have been programmed to in society, especially in the West. So you have to train yourself to look at women with reverence, or to not even look at them, like to look at a woman's body. Like people check people out all the time, and guys and girls. So no one's off the hook here, but we have to retrain ourselves. We have to learn to not view everything so sexualized, but we need to accept the sexuality as something sacred. This is why our sacral chakra is the sexual center. It's the sacred energy, our ability to create and manifest and feel and expand. And just like a seed, you plant a seed and a life is born, through the male and female together create life through sex, through orgasm. So it's a very powerful energy just to begin with. So we have to be careful on what we waste and how we use our energy. It's one of the most valuable things. I actually just shared a post on one of my Instagrams about it was just some post I had seen, but it was the wisdom of the value of our energy and how we spend it, how we use our energy. So be very mindful of how you use your energy, especially your sexual energy, because then on the positive side, I got these ants crawling on me, fire ants. On the positive side, we can manifest with our sexual energy. We can actually even cultivate this sexual energy, through tantra, through massage, through self-massage even. You don't have to go completely nofap. There is that nofap movement in the world, and that can be good to be completely strict, but you're also suppressing one of your most powerful energetic centers. So in Tantra, we learn how to use the sexual energy. We learn to pleasure and to massage in a way that is healing, and we stop the ejaculation. We don't go over the edge, essentially. You learn how to reach bliss in a full body orgasm without ejaculation. So it's also a misconception that ejaculation is associated with the highest orgasm or the highest bliss, when it's actually the lower orgasm for man. And man can experience an internal orgasm, much like a woman, that if a man was able to satisfy her for longer periods of time, then the, once again, overstimulated culture causes premature ejaculation in guys, and guys can barely last 2 to 5 minutes, and the women are unsatisfied because women take often 10 to 20 to even 30 minutes to reach climax, and they can reach it again and again if the man is able to work with his energy and not essentially ejaculate. So this is not just good for your own spiritual path, but if you do have a partner, you learn how to cultivate your own energy so that you can come together with your partner and cultivate that energy also. This is sacred sexuality. So this is when we're getting to that place of sex can be a form of enlightenment. Sex is a form of yoga even. It's like therapeutic. It releases all these healing chemicals within the body when it's done out of love. When the two people love each other and connect out of that love and that unity consciousness, the two flesh become one. And that's why they say marriage is so sacred. Not some piece of paper, but the sacred union of two souls coming together in one flesh. That is the mystery of sacred sexuality. Even in the Christian tradition, they have it there showing you the mystery of sexuality, that it's something sacred to be honored and to be kept strongly between people in marriage. And like I said, not a piece of paper, some ceremony thing, but that connection is true union. Like a yoga is a marriage with the divine, union with the divine. So you marry that and mirror that divine within each other when you have sex, when you have sacred sexuality with a partner. So there's that aspect as well. But if you're single, if you're on your own path, this is where you begin to learn to explore your own sexuality. You don't have to suppress this energy anymore. I know there's a lot of traditions, being a monk, being that type of monastic spiritual, and that can be good for many people. But especially if you're younger, if your hormones are working and your sexual centers are working, you're actually suppressing one of your organs of your body. It's just like working out. If you stop using your arms, they're going to get weak. You're not going to be able to carry a big load of wood to the fire, whatever it may be. And more ancient way of looking at why we need muscles, not just to show off and look cool and all that stuff. That's what most people get muscles for. But exercise to be strong, do yoga, asana, to be strong and stable and fit and flexible, not because it's going to give you some super secret power or some, mystical activation. Do it because it's great. And then the mystical experiences come with that. And that's why yoga is so beautiful, just to kind of bring that in there to get your energy flowing, especially even, it works with sacred sexuality. You can't just have sexual interactions without moving this energy. So yoga is how we begin Tantra, is we're moving the circuits of energy throughout the chakras. We're moving it out of the lower centers into the brain, into the higher centers, and back into the heart, and then down again, and we're creating this circuit of energy. And you can look into Mantak Chia's work, a Taoist tantric, which is a little bit different from Indian Tantra, which is usually what we cover, but I'm a big fan and studier of that Taoist Tantra, which is a little more focused on sexuality and how we can use this energy to co-create and to increase our lifespan, increase our energy output, increase our ability to connect with love, with divinity, with ourselves, with each other. So check out Mantak Chia in the microcosmic orbit meditation, but this is essentially visualizing that energy and it flowing around the entire body in the spine, so you can begin to create this circuit of energy. And this is also the same thing that you're doing with your Kundalini, is your Kundalini is dormant in the root chakra. So we have to activate that energy somehow and then get it to move upwards. This is the whole goal of Tantra, Kundalini, and Kundalini Yoga, because we need to move that energy. Most people think you just get your Kundalini activated and it just does everything for you. And that is why surrender to God, surrender to the goddess, surrender to the divine mother, Shakti, to bring about that experience as it should be without forcing it, This is why I disagree with some of the new age Kundalini practices, because they tend to force that awakening before someone has even learned the art of surrender. So you want to surrender and then maybe do some more advanced practices. Some of the practices are great, but be careful with what you do. That's why I teach Eastern yoga. That's why I teach Hatha yoga first, and then we go into deeper and some of the other layers of Tantra that can really boost up this energy and get it there. And you can always reach out for sessions or book over on Patreon and join the community there, where we'll connect more frequently, bi-weekly for meditations and weekly for yoga, if you like that sort of thing. So check that out. Check all the stuff in the description. But this is why we need a practice. This is why we need something to assist this energy. And it's not just doing the stretches. It's not just doing the pranayama. You could do everything right. But if the connection, as in like the actual movement of the energy isn't there, isn't being consciously, and I've experienced this, so I'm speaking from my own mistakes and lessons in life in the path to see, okay, I built up too much energy here and I forgot to keep circulating it. I was doing my yoga, I was doing mantra, I was doing certain things, but then I forgot to do mantra. There was a period where I said, well, I've been doing a whole lot of mantra for very consistent for almost a year straight every single day. And then I was like, what happens if I stop chanting mantra? From the progress that I've made on my spiritual path, where I was really getting to that place of energies upwards and really feeling it in the pineal gland and really feeling that energy fully activating all the chakras. And then I said, well, let's see what happens if I don't. And it was very huge difference in my energy and how much I was able to raise my energy. So the mantras are very key in this process of purifying the Kundalini. But let's get back to, and that also goes with sacred sexuality. So don't think I'm going off on a tangent here. This all connects together because you're literally vibrating the cerebral spinal fluid, so that sacred Kundalini energy. And this is in women as well. It's not just in the semen, but your energy does the same thing. So for women, this is just as equally direct. Now, you don't have to worry about ejaculation, like I said before, but you still have to move and purify this energy from a subtle, raw, that like fiery Kundalini energy. It's like primal. It's like you just want to, that sexual urge. And that is natural. But then what we do is we purify that energy through the centers. And once we can get it to reach the heart, all the way up to the third eye and the crown, then it's like it's divine union. It's reached Shakti, has reached Shiva, and we reach that divine union of like, oh, the bliss becomes the reality. Like bliss becomes our reality. And it doesn't mean we don't experience any pain or suffering or we don't see it, but you'll experience pain and you'll just be fine with it. If you notice when you don't have this energy, especially the sexual seed cultivation and that energy purified, you won't feel as much pain. You won't be bothered by things. Everyone's complaining, this, that. And you're just like, and you're indifferent to it. You may be experiencing more than them and you're still indifferent to it. You're still choosing bliss. You're still choosing love. You're still choosing that freedom of expression over like complaining and the kind of blah mentality that we're given, this dull, everything's so hard and so it's like you get that resilience and that vigor for life back when you cultivate this energy. So I want to encourage all my brothers out there to get in contact with us if this is something you struggle with. If you struggle with porn addiction, if you struggle with ejaculation, on a constant, on a daily, or even, just out of control basis, whatever it is, if you can't learn to master this energy, it will consume your life, and all you'll be able to think about is sex. All you'll be able to think about is sexuality, because it's still in that raw state. So we have to transform it through Tantra, through the yoga. So all my brothers, definitely reach out. Don't be afraid. I'm here to be open with y'all. I'm here to share my experience and my expertise. I've been in this field for about 11 years, and now even more so I'm realizing how far it's gotten me, because there's times when I was like, what am I, you don't know what's working, what's not working, because there is a time in your journey where you might get angry, like you might build up this energy and then you're like, it's still raw, you haven't transmuted the full alchemy yet. And you're like, why is this so intense? I just want to get it out. Ejaculation is the easiest way for the guy to get out his energy. So I understand that. But the more you learn to cultivate this energy, the closer and closer you'll get to that state of like, I'm resilient. Like I can take on anything no matter what life throws at me. I'm going to get through it with God. I'm going to get through it with my heart forward, with my mind right. I'm going to get right. I'm going to get my energy right. I'm going to appreciate life. I'm going to appreciate women. I'm going to respect women. I'm going to look at them with reverence and grace as they are an embodiment of the goddess. We are all made in the image of God, but to look at the feminine as the goddess, it's a very sacred thing. To view her as that embodiment of feminine divinity, and that it's equal with man. We're done with this division, we're done with the masculine hierarchy. And while the masculine is still, the father is at the top, ruling over, we need the feminine just as much. Like now there's the divine feminine thing and the feminist movement, and I don't have anything against anyone, but don't let it go the other way. We were off on the patriarchy. Now this divine feminine movement's making guys less masculine and women are taking over when we need to be right here in the center. That's the triangle. And I'm not doing no, cult shit. Like, it's a symbol showing you that trinity, that connection of Father, Mother, Son. The Father, the Son, the Holy Spirit. The Holy Spirit was the mother. We need that principle of unity between masculine and feminine principles, Shakti and Shiva principles, to come into unity and balance in this time. And sacred sexuality is one of the ways we will see that happen. It will bring back the family unit. It will bring back the beauty of connection. Got an ant in my hair. It will bring back the beauty of true love and connection, not romance, not just sensuality, but true sacred sexuality, true union and yoga through this, first within ourselves, creating that union and that energy and that upliftment of the energy, raising up the energy, and then raising that energy together, harmonizing the masculine and feminine in a physical way or in a spiritual way. You don't have to have, you can be a monastic monk if you want to. But you have to have a way to transmute and purify this sexual energy, or it will control you. So, or at least your thoughts, if not your energy, if not your mood, your emotions, all these things. So the more we purify the sexuality, the more we purify our being, and the more we can raise that energy, the stronger we get. If I'm okay to say that word, to be strong, is it okay to be strong? Is it okay for us to have strength in this time, to no longer be weak or confused by the technology that casts a spell upon our eyes to look at women with lust and despise? Yet that's all guys want is women. Isn't it such a lie and a trick that all they want is the woman, but they look at her as if she's lower? Or now with the feminists, now they're putting men lower than them, and they're saying that we're worthless and they're better off by themselves. No wonder they're saying that, because all the real guys have left the building, but we're back. And the divine masculine is rising too, with the divine feminine rising, with the assistance of Kundalini Shakti, the divine mother, Kali Ma, Jaya Ma, because she lives and breathes and feeds us all. So there's no separation here. We're here for that unity. We're here for that connection. We're here for that love. Make sure you like and subscribe to the channel. Again, if you really appreciate this content, I appreciate it so much when y'all connect, when y'all leave comments. It makes my day to hear that these messages are resonating, getting people thinking about their path, how far they've come, where they are to go next. And if I can be of assistance in any way, the links are in the description. Make sure to check out mantras and meditations on the channel for chakra healing. And I will see you all again in the video so soon. Namaste.